So welcome, everyone. We're here tonight, really a last-minute gathering to learn, to listen, and to pray, and to use our energies in a proactive and productive way, and also just to gather together. There's something that I learned, which is that when we gather together, that in itself is Kedusha. That is holiness, just the sheer act of gathering. And you may have seen that 20,000 people gathering in Crown Heights the other night, and that huge gathering in the middle of the city. And over here in Baltimore, we've had some really big gatherings, and just to be with one another is huge. And it's huge on so many levels. And one of the levels that is huge on is that just by being together, we create a chabura consciousness, which is a term coined by Rabbi Niven, which means our cells, our vibrations, our neshamas are interacting together just by being together, and especially by davening together, by praying together. So we get so much accomplished when we gather in achdus, which is unity, and we don't we're gathered just because we're gathering. We didn't say only people with blue eyes come or only people with brown eyes come. No, this is a gathering because we want to be together, and that wantingness is moshech, is pulling us like magnetically towards one another, that our very souls know that by being together, we're going to accomplish tikkunim and fixings and good things for the whole entire world. So
during a class about
days, for the past few days, I've actually been asking myself this question, like, where to put my energies, where? And just give me a little raise of hands if that question has been bothering you a little bit. You feel that, like, I want to contribute, and I'm almost confused, inundated. There's raising money, there's campaigning, there's advocacy, there's tehillim, there's my home life. There are so many places that it's possible to put my energies, and yet I wasn't able to land in the center of my soul to say, aha, here I am ready to serve until tonight. And I want to share with you some of the things that helped me to get to that place. And my desire is to help you get to that place, because this desire to give, it's universal and it's pulsing throughout our people. I heard a woman speaking today saying that her grown-up son was just going out of his mind, in Israel. He had to do something, and he traveled quite a distance to go and make sandwiches for soldiers. Please, let me make sandwiches. My daughter's seminary, same thing, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's what they're busy with. Please let us give something. And this is our beauty. This is our grace, and it's real. We want to rise to the occasion. We can feel that this is both a tragedy and an opportunity. The importance of the moment, it just is overwhelming, and the desire to help is overwhelming. Today, my daughter told me a story. She said that there was a man who became aware of all the people that were displaced from their homes, because I believe it was the North was becoming more unsafe, and they would need a place to stay. And so he put that out on social media. 45 minutes later, a man called him and said, I would like to shelter a family. And the man said, you're too late. I'm so sorry. There's nobody left to shelter. They all have houses. How many people were there? 6,000 people in 45 minutes. We are amazing, and our desire to give is massive. So one of the things that has helped me is to deeply understand, and I feel that you will get this immediately, that we are all soldiers. The Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory had always used to say this, that we are soldiers in the army of Hashem. And today we feel it viscerally. There are soldiers that are on the front lines, and there are soldiers that are in supporting roles. But none of us is a bystander, and none of us is a layman. No, We are all soldiers. We have been given a mission, a job that we must do in this critical time. And I believe that it's the call of the neshama that's aching, that's saying, tell me my job. I feel I feel the call, I feel the pull. You know, once upon a time there was an ad. It was such a magnificent ad. I saw it on YouTube once. It was for the Peace Corps, but you didn't know that at the beginning. All you saw was people eating at restaurants, and they're eating very nicely, and suddenly they look up and they're like, whoa, and they start to follow something. They start to walk down the road towards something, you don't know what. And this other man, he's working in a truck, and all of a sudden he puts down his tools, he lets up, and he starts following. And at the end, you see that all of these people are going to serve. Nothing matters as much as your calling to serve. It aches, it pulses, it moves within you. So in our school, and even in the world now, the idea of a life mission is very prevalent. We know about it. And now is the time to activate it, to look back at those notes and those hints and say, what is that special gift that I have? And then, because we are in these such important times, how can I crank that up, use that in partnership with Hashem to really do something incredible? I will tell you a story. I have a wonderful, wonderful son-in-law named Shimmy. And Shimmy was a lone soldier, which means that of his own accord, he went to serve in the IDF. He's an American citizen, but that is where he went to serve. And he served at a very high up level. Well, he's married now to my daughter. They're in Baltimore, and you could only imagine how he feels knowing that he really understands what it means to be called up for war. He understands the hunger. He understands the fear. He understands the casualties. He gets it. And he's here, and all this is going on. So last night, we went to this big gathering, and it was a solidarity gathering. And towards the end of the gathering, there is a man here who's a great philanthropist. And so he has this nonprofit, and he wrote up this thing that he can get the soldiers armor and helmets and everything that they need. And he can guarantee get it over to them within 8 or 9 hours. All we need is the money. So Shimmy looked at me. He's like, should I do this? How do I do this? We were in a pretty elegant place. It was not a place that would be used to someone calling out and saying, please donate, please donate. I said, I'm not embarrassed. And he's like, I'm not embarrassed. And so I got to work. I didn't end up having to do anything. I tried making a Canva and all this, but before I knew it, there was Shimmy standing in front of this synagogue that had people of all denominations there. And he said, please donate. We're going to get the soldiers armor. We have a guaranteed, charity over here. You can be guaranteed your money will be going directly to the soldiers. Please donate, please donate. All you need to do is take a picture of my phone. You'll get the information. You'll zell it over there and we'll be good. Well, guess what? How many people do you think answered him of the thousands that were there? Not a ton. They were caught by surprise. It wasn't part of the protocol, and it wasn't part of the itinerary of the evening, and people passed him by. They didn't know who this yelling man was. Some people did take his information, not a ton of people. However, today Shimmy went to work, and he spoke to a couple people, and they spoke to a couple people, and they spoke to a couple people, and before you know it, very wealthy people got involved, and $1,800,000 was raised that went directly to soldiers getting proper armor and helmets and something he's calling keramika, which is, I guess, ceramics underneath them in order to protect them. And I watched this Shimmy, and I tell you this story. And what it says to me, and you can write in the chat box what it says to you, but what it says to me is he tried. That's what he did. He did the hard thing. It didn't feel comfortable for him to stretch a little bit, but he did the hard thing. And of course, We're in charge of the efforts. Hashem is in charge of the results. And the money came some other way. Shimi was working today while all these other people were making phone calls that he perhaps didn't hear properly if he initiated or was involved. And all of this happened for our people. So see if you can just take a moment of chizuk, which means encouragement from that. Like Chana said, Chana is a very graceful feminine woman. When she tells me I'm going masculine, I'm going for, advocacy, I'm raising money, I say, Chana, you're an inspiration. That's not easy. What can we do that's a little bit harder? Our mission amped up. That's the first story I want to offer you. And just take it internally, plug it in somewhere in your psyche for that moment where you may need to do something that's a little bit less comfortable. Okay. I have 2 more stories for you. And all this, God willing, will lead to an offering for you, a goal, a practical action step. Years ago, I went to listen to a talk by Miriam Adahan. She should be blessed. And the topic of the talk was how to give your children invincible self-esteem. Well, you can imagine a lot of us turned up for that talk. And at that talk, she told a story. And it was the story of a boy who was wheelchair bound. And he was in a classroom in an elementary school. And at some point, this boy needed to use the bathroom. And so he let his Rebbe know, and as was the protocol, the Rebbe made sure that he got to the bathroom and that he was taken care of and everything was okay. However, something went wrong or something happened, and the Rebbe forgot to take the boy out of the bathroom. And he was unable to get back into his wheelchair by himself. So this boy was there for minutes and minutes and minutes and a half an hour and 40 minutes, if I remember correctly, just sitting there. He can't just call out to another boy. How embarrassing would that be? He has no idea if his Rebbe's going to come. He's just sitting there in this most uncomfortable position. When the Rebbe finally came to him and apologized from the depths of his heart, I'm so sorry. I forgot about you. I'm sorry. I can't. The boy said, it's okay. The Rebbe said, what do you mean it's okay? And the boy said, well, when I was sitting, I was thinking to myself that perhaps I am preventing a bomb going off in the land of Israel. That kept him going. He was given the gift of invincible self-esteem, the truth that every single thing that we do, especially the things that are hard for us, can literally hold back a bomb in Israel. And that was not even in wartime. In wartime, we have extra rachnim, extra mercy. Everything counts, double, triple, bonus points. So the amazing thing is that a child can have invincible self-esteem, but what about us adults? What keeps us going? Part of adulthood is understanding the weight of something and seeing beyond yourself. I don't think I'll ever forget the first time I did the dishes. I was almost at the youngest of the family, 8th out of 9 children. And one day, I washed my bowl, perhaps it was a cereal bowl, and then I washed all the other bowls in the sink. And my mother said to me, I'm so proud of you. What you have just shown is maturity. Maturity is the ability to see beyond yourself, to see all the other dishes. That was the gift that she gave me. And sometimes as adults, we don't even feel mature. We feel like teenagers, or like we're just figuring it out, or we have imposter syndrome, or we can't believe that this is like we're the ones that the kids are looking up to. Like, that's crazy. We're supposed to have the answers. Oh my goodness. We're supposed to show up, pretty consistently every day, when actually our emotions go through tornadoes and hurricanes on a daily basis. It's just wild, but yeah, these days we have to realize we are the adults. That means that our option, it's a choice, is to have invincible self-esteem, to understand the weight of our actions beyond ourselves, that what we do matters so much. And it can be, you would never think that a child sitting in a bathroom stall would be so potent as not only to stop a bomb in the land of Israel, but to educate rooms and rooms of people that Miriam Adahan went to. And his lesson lives on till today. That was 20 years ago, and I still remember. Who knows the import of our actions? So please take that story, plug it in, have invincible self-esteem. Every single thing you do is important and matters. You are in the army of Hashem, and nothing less than that. You are nothing less than a soldier. One more story for you. This story blew me away. I listened to it a few times because my mind expanded. I didn't know that such a story could exist. And now that I know, I can't be the same. So this is the story of Rivka Holsberg of blessed memory. Her and her husband were Chabad Shluchim in Mumbai, and they were hit by terrorists. And as many of us remember, this was about 13 years ago, their little baby boy survived. The nanny rescued him. And so the Holsberg family, or actually it was Rivka's mother, was sitting Shiva. And at the Shiva house, someone came to her, a young girl, maybe a woman in her 20s, came to her and handed her a box. And she said, "What is in this box?" The girl told her, "Open it. It belongs to you." So she opened the box, and what was inside of there? A beautiful dress and a diamond ring. This is very confusing. So the girl said, "I will tell you the story behind this box. I was in India, and I was just messing around. I was like off the rails. Who knows? She was clubbing, she was drugging, and she landed up in jail. Well, this is not a very pleasant place to be. And so as an American, she was able to bribe one of the guards and escape. Where did she run? To the Chabad house. She got there. Rivka gave her food. Rivka took care of her and welcomed her. And this girl was filled with relief. And then Rivka said to her, "You can't stay here." She said, "Why not?" She said, "They will come and they will find you." And the girl said, "But what am I supposed to do? I can't just leave. If I go to the airport, they're going to catch me there just looking at my passport, and they're going to send me back to jail. Please tell me, what should I do?" So Rivka said, "Listen, you're in India now and things are different. There's a caste system, sadly and tragically, which means that people who are poor are treated very differently than people who are wealthy. If you go out as you are, for sure you will be caught. But if we can find a way to have you dressed as a wealthy woman, they're not going to touch you. You're like, too elite." So Rivka went into her closet and got her most beautiful Shabbos dress. After that, she took off her wedding ring and she gave it to her. And she said, you should be good to go now." And so that's what happened. The girl went dressed very elegantly, wearing Rivka Holsberg's diamond ring, and she was able to leave the country and get into safety. And when Rivka's mother heard this story, she said, "Last time I saw Rivka, I noticed that she wasn't wearing her ring. And I asked her about it. And do you know what she said? She said, 'My ring is also on shlichus.' That means my ring is also out doing a mitzvah. That's all." I don't even know where you're going to plug that story into your life. I honestly don't know. But what I do know is that it shows us that we can be superhuman. To give your most beautiful dress is not easy. To give a wedding ring has every reason stacked against it, but nothing is as precious as a life. And so she gave that as well, with the simplicity of, this is what I've got to do. So right now, we are in America, most of us that I'm talking to, and we are not being called up to make massive sacrifices, like sending soldiers off to war, sending out sons and daughters, leaving our homes, none of that. But there are sacrifices that we can make on a daily basis, and every single one of those is going to be a jewel in Hashem's crown. And we must have invincible self-esteem that it matters. Do you know that I had a moment of irritation tonight? It was unusual, and I recognized it as a test, because now's that time. I was listening to a small video as I was walking past one of my children, and for some reason, they were talking and the video was on and my nice new phone was too loud. And they were telling me, like, could you turn it down? Well, my ego was not so happy with that. Like, I'm the mom and it's a 1-minute video. That's the whole thing. I don't walk around loud. Like, I felt it rise, you know? And then I'm realizing, like, that was a test. I just walked past with a smile, because you know what? Let's have invincible self-esteem, not getting irritated, not turning back, not like wincing. Okay, who knows what I accomplished there? Who knows what any of us can and will accomplish? So we're here tonight to listen, to learn, and to pray. And we are wrapping up our listening portion. So for your very own self, please, I ask you to write down one message that you got from tonight. You can write it in the chat box. I am a very firm believer that we learn the most from our own selves. That's where the real learning is. If you can teach yourself something with this one line, you're going to get it in your bones better than anything that I or anyone else can tell you. Okay, looking in the chat box. Here we go. Very good. There is power in our small actions. Wow, just that. Imagine that was in Times Square. There is power in our small actions. Thank you for that. Invincible self-esteem. We are being called up to be brave, over the top. Oh, wait, I'm missing it. Over the top action from our gifts is required. Yes. Believe that you make a difference and try and go out of your comfort zone to do something beyond. Okay, and someone here says, I want to do more to be a good soldier. Let's talk about that. In life, there are two spheres. There is the sphere of being and the sphere of doing. Not every soldier is called upon to do. Many of us are called upon to be. And we're going to go there in our next part of our conversation. And let's just see one more comment. Someone says, I actually feel like I've been experiencing an out-of-body experience, led on mission to do things that are beyond me. And Chana says, in essence, each of our neshama is a jewel. Sharing a bit of ourselves is lending our most precious gift to Am Yisrael and the world. Yeah. Looking for ways to be most nefesh for Hashem so he can do nisim for us. Yes, thank you. Thank you. When we are ma'avir al midosav, which means when we overcome our natural characteristics, then Hashem, God, is ma'avir al midoso. He overcomes his natural way. It's a direct correlation. Hashem tzilcha, Hashem is your shadow. Whatever you do is what he does. We try to hold that in mind. Now, let's address something before we go to our next component. And that is, One of the greatest ways to evoke Hashem's mercy, which we need so desperately, is to have mercy on one another. Have mercy on one another. There is nothing bigger than this. To be kind, to be gentle. For many of us, myself included, much of our work is going to be in self-regulation. That means keeping myself in a good space or a good enough space so that I can be kind and gentle to others. And when I am kind and gentle to others, I will find that my tank fills more naturally, and then I can go above and beyond in the ways that we just spoke about. It is a woman's way to be in constant contact with Hashem, in intimate contact with Hashem. And sometimes he whispers to you, take a rest. And sometimes you feel the whisper, turn off your phone, don't watch those things. It's enough that you know that something's going on. And sometimes he whispers, get up and get out and go do something. Okay? But it is not invincible self-esteem to think I'm not doing enough. And it's not even true. Your sheer desire to do more is the representative of who you are. And then it's upon Hashem to guide you and steer you into where to put that more. But it says, Ritzon Yirev Ya'aseh, the will of the ones who fear him, he does. Your will be done in the way that's good for you, for your personality, for your emotional makeup, and if you have one, for your family. We don't want to go overboard. The world is already rocking and rolling. The world is already in just massive upheaval. If at all possible, our homes should be places that are gentle, kind, and full of this compassion that we want Hashem to emulate and that we are emulating from Hashem. And compassion always starts with self-compassion. So take good care of yourself. Okay. I had an idea. I will share it with you now. My idea was, what if we could create a crown for Hashem? What if our battalion here could do something incredible? What if we could see it and take note of it? And as you know, I believe that anything that is written down takes on an even more concrete form. Our whole Torah is written down, that concrete form, it makes it more alive. And every time we do a mitzvah, it's a jewel in the crown of Hashem. And so I thought, what if us here together could make something amazing? And I created a Google Doc. And the Google Doc is for anyone who wants to fill out. It's a simple thing. Your name, which is optional. The invincibly incredible deed that you did. And then the color that you would ascribe to it. After that, your tefillah for Am Yisrael. Whenever you do something that is hard for you, it's an Eis Ratzon. So right then you write down your tefillah. And then I would like to commission an artist to take our deeds and the colors that we've ascribed to them and to make a beautiful, beautiful work of art that will be Mekadesh Shem Shemayim. We will see what it will be. We will have to speak to this artist. But it will be infused with your colors, the colors of your mitzvos, the colors of your intentions, and perhaps even some of the words of the tefillos that you will write. So give me a raise of hands if you like the idea of filling in even just one deed a day that you did, tracking it, writing it down, showing Hashem, showing the universe. Just a little raise of hand on your Google Doc. I see Erica on your Zoom screen. I see Erica. I see Hannah Tamar. Great. And Lily. And how much chizuk it will give us. And Hannah and Malki. Amazing. To just fill it in. So what we're going to do is a challenge. Right now, this war has only just begun, and we don't actually know what life is going to bring for any of us. And so this is a 2-week challenge. If you would like to be reminded by email to fill in a very special deed, just put your email in the chat box, send it directly to Hannah tomorrow. And just for 2 weeks, this intense period of time, we're going to send you an email, and it's going to have the link to the Google Docs, so you don't have to do anything. You don't have to search for anything. You click on it, you pop it in, you write something down there, and you make a massive Kiddush Hashem. Okay? Thank you very much. Just send your email to Hannah tomorrow. And I'm noticing that not so many people are raising their hand, and I want to honor that as well. Sometimes life is so overwhelming with so many initiatives that it's so scary to take on one more in any shape or form. So my assumption is that it just feels overwhelming. So if you're one of those who just feels like, please, not another thing, we totally understand you, and you can check yourself and see, will I feel good at the end of 2 weeks? My favorite tool to get stuff done is I ask myself, what other better thing could I be doing with this hour? You know, I'm going to be happy when I finish this job. So I ask you the same thing. What other better thing might you be doing with those 2 minutes? And that kind of challenge helps me to go out and do the thing. Okay. All righty. We're going to, and for Lily, this will be out of my comfort zone. That's huge, Lily. Thank you. Amazing. And someone else told me they've already dedicated a mitzvah for a chayal. Yes. Okay. Amazing. So let's wrap up now. And we're going to wrap up with a tehillim that we're going to say together. And with a tefillah, may all our precious brothers and sisters be safe. May all our enemies be defeated. And Kadosh Baruch Hu look with favor upon all of his children and bring the Geula Shalema immediately. And may we be together in unity and comfort and bring Mashiach Tzidkenu. Amen. All right, all of you, have such a good night. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please feel free to send a message to Hannah Tamar or to the school with any further requests or ideas. If there is a desire for more gatherings, more prayers, we don't really know so much just yet. It's all going to unfold, but we want you to know that the school welcomes your input and your feedback. And it's awesome to see all of you, even those of you off of camera. It's just a pleasure to see your names. Okay. Have such a good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your thank you. Bye-bye.